one of the challenges of converting from carburetor to EFI for a lot of people who have been deep in the carburetor world is just getting their head around the technology, using a laptop, connecting to the ECU, and then of course there's the tuning. I'm here with Mark from Edelbrock to talk about their Pro-Flo 4 EFI system, which literally could not be simpler. So for a start, Mark, just talk to us about what drove you to developing this particular platform.
Well, when I came to Edelbrock, we had a lot of really long tech calls, and it was quite complex, and it would start usually with the person that's having a problem just communicating with the ECU, setting up a driver, that sort of stuff. And then getting into the complexity of what was the problem and trying to get it tuned and getting into the fuel map. It's quite complex.
So we actually got problems even before we even start talking about actual tuning aspects.
Yeah, it was never simple. And the tech calls would usually be anywhere from 35, 40 minutes. And we'd have quite a long hold time, you can imagine. We sell quite a few systems. So we decided we need to come up with something that was economical and simple, where we did all the hard work in the background. The customer puts it on. Most importantly, it starts up and runs pretty good right off the bat.
I mean, that's always been the dream, and I've seen a number of players in the market try or promise that, and the results I've seen up to this point, and admittedly I haven't had any involvement with your system, but the results I've seen have maybe fallen a little short of that promise. So how has this worked out?
Well, it's worked out quite well. You know, the sacrifice is we took away laptop tuning, but the plus side is we got a system that works right out of the box. A lot less tech calls, a lot of happy customers.
I think it's probably good to preface this interview with the fact that this is definitely not a system for high-end tuners that are already familiar with a laptop, already have a lot of experience tuning. This is more for that entry level, guys who want to get their car up and running and they don't have that technical knowledge. I'm not trying to take away from the capabilities of the system. I'm just trying to say that it's aimed at a particular market, correct?
That's true. Yeah, it is capable of running up to 1,000 horsepower. You know,
so there's no limitation.
RPM. There's no limitation there. But you know, for the guys there's some guys that are pretty persistent that they need to laptop tune it. They won't believe how well it runs out of the box.
All right. So out of the box, what do you actually provide? What is the system? I mean, another problem with the EFI conversions, of course, is we've got fuel pumps to consider, mounting of injectors. There's all of the wiring, which I know scares a lot of people off. So how involved is this?
It's not very involved at all, really. I mean, we leave it up to you to provide the fuel system, but we provide them, like you say. I mean, the wiring is a fully terminated harness. There's no cutting, there's no crimping, none of that sort of stuff. The other complication is always, you know, what injector do I need? You know, the smarter guys know, okay, I'm making 400 horsepower, 300 horsepower, I need a 29 or 35 pound-hour injector. We offer kits that come assembled with a 29, 35, or 60, depending on your power. All the customers do is look at the advertisement, go, okay, that's my power level. They get the kit, they don't even know what injectors ain't half the time, it's set up.
It doesn't matter.
Of course, yeah, so of course when they fire it up, if you got a 60 pound-an-hour injector and you're only making 350 horsepower, the injector pulse width is not gonna be accurate. We do all of that for the customer. And they get the manifold fully assembled as you see it.
So that's another problem, of course, when we're converting from a carbureted engine, there's no locations for multi-point injection, so that's problematic.
Yes.
A way of getting around this has always been throttle body injection, but that's not my preference.
It's carburetor.
Yeah, exactly. So multi-point, this makes it nice and easy. The fuel rails are still there. So as you mentioned, from the end user's perspective, they need to provide a fuel system that can provide 45, 58 PSI thereabouts to the fuel rails.
Yeah, that's about right. We have depending on your power level, you'll either choose 43 or 58 PSI.
All right, so in terms of the spark, the ignition system, I've seen there's a distributor on the wall behind me, so we're still retaining the distributor, which makes sense. How does the end user set that up?
Well, they set it up, it's a special distributor to make our rotors run sequential. All you got to do is put it in a certain way. There's an arrow on the side of the distributor. You point the rotor at the arrow, install it. You run through the setup wizard, and then one of the questions is, right after the wizard, is you fire up the motor, you bring up the page that says lock ignition timing, you hit a button, it locks the timing down 12 degrees. Timing light out, look down, turn the distributor until the timing light reaches 12 degrees, lock it down, unlock it. From that point, you use the app. And the app's quite simplified. All the language in is exactly what a guy knows about a distributor. Instead of stopping, changing weights, or changing the springs in the distributor, you do it on the little tablet.
One of the big advantages, of course, going to EFI is we've got complete control over the spark with regard to both load and RPM. So again, getting away from vacuum advance and weights, it's all done digitally. I'm assuming as well you've got a sensor inside of that distributor for engine speed and position.
Yes, that is
So
correct.
no need to go and fit a crank trigger system. It's all there, just one component that you're adding.
Yeah, it's all in the distributor. And all the sensors that are on the system, all the calibrating's done too. That's always a complicated thing. When the guys put together an EFI system, you have to go and individually calibrate all the sensors. This is all done for you. It's all calibrated, ready to start up.
Okay, makes perfect sense. Let's take all of those barriers to entry away and make it as simple as possible. Now, of course, we could be fitting the system to engines with a range of different capacities. We could be fitting it to engines with a range of different cam profiles. So anything from stock through to a full race cam with a huge amount of duration and overlap. That makes a massive difference to the fueling and the ignition timing requirements. How are you dealing with that?
Well, in the background, when we developed this system, we spent a lot of time on the dyno and with engines and vehicles of different configurations. And we went through and we dynoed as many motors as we could. So there's over 80 base maps in here. So when the customer runs through the wizard and it loads a calibration that fits their application, it's usually within 5 to 10%.
Okay, so they're good enough to start the engine and actually drive it right off.
Because as soon as it's warmed up, it starts running on closed loop. So it's pulling it straight down to your target air-fuel ratios.
All right, so talk to us about that closed loop, because essentially this sets us up on the base map, which we've done our job right. Hopefully it's going to be there or thereabouts, and hopefully we're only trimming maybe plus or minus 5%.
Yeah.
But then this has an auto-learning system to account for any errors it's seeing.
That is true, yep.
So as you drive it over time, it improves that base fuel map behind the scenes.
Yeah, so basically it's sitting there, and if it's 5% rich, 10% rich, even as much as 20%, the closed loop is pulling it down the target. And then the ECU is looking at it and going, okay, it's pulling out 50% at this break point, a certain vacuum and RPM line together, and it saves that number. The trick is you got to educate the customer that it's not just going to learn if you're driving the same road back and forth. You actually got to run it in low gear, higher gear.
Use all of the combination of RPM and load to get access to the full map.
Yeah, but most of the time it's running pretty damn close to perfect because it's on the closed loop. Sure, it's not learning yet if you haven't hit those spots, but it runs good enough that you can drive it all the time. If you hit those break points, fine. If you don't, no big deal. When you do later on, it's going to learn it. It's always learning. It never stops learning.
Now, one of the other barriers to entry, I guess, for people looking at an EFI conversion is the cost of tuning and dyno time. Exactly. Is this something that you would recommend taking to a dyno tuner or a dyno shop, or is it something that really is just plug and play and drive?
It's pretty plug and play. The feedback I get from a lot of the shops is the reason they love it is generally they put on our competitor systems and they have to put it on chassis down. At that point, you waste a day and you got to charge the customer $600. Most of the shops that put this thing on it love it because they put it on, tune it in and idle a little bit, let it warm, run up, drive it around the block for a while, and they're confident enough they can give it to the customer, and the customer start driving it and let it learn with them.
From my perspective, the tuning of the wide open throttle and cruise areas of the map for ignition and fuel, that actually is relatively straightforward and quick to tune. I find it really comes into the more subtle aspects of cold start, idle speed control, transient enrichment. Those are the subtle little parts that probably you end up spending as much time on as the rest of the mapping together. And those are the parts that really sort of shine when it comes to a car that drives really nicely on the street. Middle of winter, snow on the ground, middle of summer, it's blazing hot. You can reach through the door, turn the key, it'll start and idle. How is that dealt with this system?
With ours, we've done a lot of work with that, cold starts and hot starts, heat soaks, etc. We did a lot of altitude testing, but we also provide a lot of power inside the app to further adjust that stuff. And the way we design the accelerator pump, acceleration stuff is just like the accelerator pump on a carburetor, because we realize most of our customers ran carburetors.
So basically, if people can tune the acceleration enrichment on a carburetor, they'll be able to apply what they know to this?
And the variables in the app, it's like pump shot and pump shot duration, and then the cold start stuff, you can adjust it for each temperature range, like every 10 degrees, you can add or take away fuel. Same with the crank fuel. So we provide all of that in the app, and it's quite simple. We try and keep the terminology the same as a carburetor. because usually our customers are switching over from a carburetor. You know, they don't need to be a genius about it. We want to make it fun for them.
Yeah, it makes sense. It definitely is a solution to a problem that I've noted out there in the market as well. Could you give us an idea of what the price point is for the product?
Price point right now is like a small block Chevy. That's our most popular. Of course, that's the one we make the most manifolds for, etc. They start about $2,000. I think our dual quad for a Chrysler is probably the most expensive, and it's like $2,800. So it's still quite reasonable.
It's a pretty cost-effective way of adding port injection to your V8.
Sequential port injection is what's important too. You know, it's not batch fire. It's nothing cheap. This is a good system.
Maybe for those who aren't aware of sort of batch fire versus sequential, could you give us an idea of what that means and the advantage of full sequential?
Sure, there's different types of batch, but you know, very common ones, they'll fire all 4 injectors, all 8 injectors, that sort of stuff. The sequential port on this one is firing only when the intake valve's about to open. It fires one time, so it's not just spraying the fuel in there and getting wasted out. And it really keeps the distribution quite well, which is very important. Unlike like a TBI systems like carburetor, it's putting it all in, so the fuel's always falling down, getting up on the valves and stuff. This has quite good mileage also, is what's nice.
Again, one of the advantages of that multi-point injection as well, as opposed to throttle body. If people want to find out more about the product or perhaps purchase, how are they best to do that?
You just go to edelbrock.com on our website and you look up Pro-Flo 4 or search Pro-Flo 4.
Great, thanks for your time.
Sure, thank you very much.
If you like that video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already a subscriber, make sure you're subscribed. We release a new video every week. And if you like free stuff, we've got a great deal for you. Click the link in the description to claim your free spot to our next live lesson.